Today we're making Italian rice salad that we typically eat like when we go to the beach or if my son's got a soccer game. This is a great food you can take with you places, or if you have like a long road trip. If you've got problems like gluten-free, lactose-free, egg, whatever, then you can make rice salad and it goes with everything. If you got a day out on the boat, get out a big pot. Some water in this and start to get it to boil. So they sell different kinds of rice in Italy. There is one that's kind of for rice salad. Oh my gosh, my pantry is too messy. I can't find it. Okay, so you're gonna fill up your pot with water. So what's funny is that when I first moved to Italy, I realized that they cook rice just like pasta. They don't like measure the water like you do when you make Asian rice. You know, they don't even rinse their rice. And I grew up making rice kind of like in a Korean way because my family used to live in Korea. So, you know, you got to measure it and test it with your finger. You know, no, Italians throw a whole big old pot of water and they dump the rice in there. It's so easy. So this is a brand that you'll find everywhere in Italy. It's called Gallo, and which means chicken. And they even have like rice salad on there. Look how cute. Okay, so we're gonna make this now. Get out your pack. You got to open it up. I'm gonna put this over here because, girl, I only got 2 hands. Comes sealed, which I really appreciate that this comes sealed. Like, I complain a lot about food packaging in Italy, like literally. I really hate the way they package food. It's like so inconvenient. Like they don't ever have like fancy zips, or they don't spend money on that stuff. But this is smart because there is a problem with bugs here. There is like a huge problem with pantry bugs in Italy because the reason for that is a long story, but anyway, there's this problem, okay? So if it comes packaged like this, I'm like, thank God. Sometimes you'll buy brands of rice where it's not sealed like this. Just don't get those brands because you never know if there's gonna be a little pantry insect in your rice and then you gotta throw the whole rice out. Girl, just get the sealed one. You know, you know how they say you can't eat at everyone's house? You got to keep things contained, keep your stuff in jars, containers or whatever, because bugs happen. So, and it will ruin everything. So and also there is water in the atmosphere. Like you can have stuff that gets too humid and whatever and just gets moldy, whatever. You're going to let your water boil, and then I'm going to use maybe half of this bag, and so maybe that's 2 cups or so, or 3 cups, and let it boil until it's al dente. So the box says 10 to 12 minutes, so I'm gonna cook it for like 11, test it and see if it's good, and then take it out. The things you're gonna need is some cheese. I just have this, it's called Emmental cheese. You can use mozzarella. I'm not really a fan of it. So you're gonna need tomatoes. I use cherry tomatoes because I like the acidity. All the tomatoes are different. There's like loads of types of tomatoes, and so some are sweet, some are crunchy, some are acidic. They're different. Cherry tomatoes are kind of acidic, and we use those a lot in my house. Anyway, you're gonna need mayonnaise. You can get some jars of like olives mixed with vegetables and capers and stuff like that. This is what we use. Well, there's loads of brands, okay, but I just found this one, and it actually says insalata per riso, so salad. This is for rice salad, basically. So if you don't find jars like this, then you can just get green olives and get other things you want to put in your salad, like peas or chopped up vegetables that have already been cooked down and things like that. Little miniature onions or whatever, capers, and I like to put carciofi, artichokes. Oh, hot dogs. Gonna need a pack of hot dogs. You can also throw in some basil. You can use cans of tuna, but since we've got hot dogs, I don't want to do tuna and hot dogs, so I'm going with hot dogs. All right, so go ahead and get out a big bowl. You can never have enough bowls in your house. So how do you know that somebody is a newlywed? They don't have enough bowls in their house for cooking for a large crowd, or like pots for more than 2 people. That's how you know. My water is almost ready, almost to a boiling point. Oh yeah, y'all. I don't know if y'all knew that, but don't throw in the rice if the water's not boiling. So I should have said that. Not everyone has common sense. Okay, so the Italian way of making rice, just like pasta, you don't throw it in until the water is boiling and salted. So we're not putting the rice in from the beginning. Then it's gonna become way too soggy and overcooked and nasty. So my water is boiling. I'm gonna throw in a good amount of salt because this is a big pot of water. You gotta flavor your rice at this stage. So anything that you put in water, so if you're cooking potatoes or rice or pasta, same concept, you gotta put salt in the water. You don't need to put oil in there. Put in your rice. Just gonna do half the bag. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, so that's how much rice I'm cooking. It was about half the bag and about 3 cups. And you're gonna cook that for 11 minutes based on the package directions that I have. You gotta follow your package directions. A lot of people cook and they just ignore the directions on the package, and because they think they've been cooking their whole life and whatever. Well, part of that can be true, like you get a knack for it, but it doesn't hurt to just read what someone else wrote on there. They must know, I mean, they made the product. Just take their advice. While that's cooking, I'm gonna start chopping up all my things for my salad to put in my bowl. Okay, so I just drained all my water out of my rice and all of the starch from the rice has gone down the drain. If you want to cool off your rice really quickly, you can lay it on a sheet pan with put some oven paper down, put the rice on the sheet pan, and it will cool off in like 5 minutes if you want to eat it right away. If it's wintertime, stick the colander outside for 5 minutes or you can stick it in the freezer. And then it'll cool off faster. So that's a trick. But I'm making this rice for tomorrow as well because tomorrow my son has a soccer trip and so we're probably gonna eat on the road, and so that's what I'm gonna make this for. All right, it's been 5 minutes. My rice is really cooled off. I mean, it's amazing. I'm gonna stick this now in my bowl. Add this. I'm also gonna add some mayonnaise. A good spoonful. Okay, and you can also add olive oil. But this is the yummy kind that the kids really like with the hot dogs and the mayonnaise in here. And I might add a couple leaves of basil. Okay, and I'm gonna taste it. It's really good with that vinegar flavor going on from the can of the jar of vegetables that I had. You can also add capers to this, which is delicious. Okay, and I'm gonna pack this up in some containers that I have. I got these little containers from the store for whenever you go on trips. They're just like disposable, perfect little portion for little kids. Look at that. It's like maybe a cup or so. Isn't that adorable? Just gonna throw that in there. And it'll be a little something for the kids to eat. Don't throw away your extra rice, guys. Don't ever throw away rice. You can save this in the freezer. Put it in a container. I like to use glass containers. Throw that in the freezer, and then whenever you're busy on another day and you want to make a dish, you can pull this out and make food pretty quickly. That's the secret, is that as you cook, you can always cook a little bit more or save components like this. And then on a busy day, you can take out stuff that you've prepped ahead of time and you can cook a meal in like 20 minutes. So put that in the freezer.
I really like how there's like a balance of flavors. You've got the acidity from the vinegar, vegetables, and then you've got the fat from the mayonnaise and the cheese. The fresh basil leaves is just a little bit of something fresh and crunchy. Really good. Thanks for watching. Download this recipe from my recipe book on Amazon. You can get the link in the description. Thanks guys, bye.